Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we are back with another game review, our final game review, of course, of the preseason. The 23-6 pounding of the Patriots. Now, I know it's preseason, but we're going to talk about this a little bit in detail. I want to say hello to everybody in chat right now. We've already got a bunch of people in TikTok right now. I know the people are filing. I opened that up a few minutes ago. A little bit earlier than I did the YouTube. How you doing? I see Sandy B in here in YouTube. I see Diane, Case, and Knox. A few others sending some likes, some gifts. I do appreciate that, each and every one of you. Thank you very much. And if you are a Raider fan, you have got to be happy with what you're seeing with this new regime, both in the draft picks, the way the team's being coached, the way the attitude and the mindset here. It feels different. I know you feel it. I feel it too. And this game was not even close. And honestly, the Patriots, they had their starters out there for a quarter and a half just to get a field goal off of our backup players. No Max Crosby, no Chandler Jones back there, of course, is our starters. So how you doing? How you doing? Looking good. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Sandy. Or Diane. Sandy says, I'm here too. She's double dipping. So we are simulcasting both on TikTok. You can see this with my iPad, and on YouTube. So you will be able to see both if you're on TikTok. Get a little bit of behind the scenes on how we do the show. And of course, if you are new to the program, this is how we normally run things. We do what we call the rundown right here. We go through these. These are our topics that we're going to be talking about tonight. And of course, we always end things with a question and answer segment because I want to hear what you guys have to say on the particular topic I'm talking about. If not, I can just put videos out. What's the point of going live, right? The interaction is key here. So do appreciate each and every one of you in here. And let's get right to it.
And I hear everyone say it, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
And we've been taking it all the way. We're 4-0 in the preseason. First time we've ever done that and gone undefeated. I know it's the preseason, but it feels different. It really does feel different with a new regime. As far as the champion count goes, we're over 800 on YouTube, over 1,400, and climbing on TikTok. Thank you very much for each and every one of you. And of course, especially if you're watching this on a replay, why not like and subscribe or follow on TikTok so you'll be notified when I go live and you can be live with us and interact with us. It just makes sense. Let's get to the next subject, and that is our poll of the week. I always do a poll of the week before our live streams. I usually do those 9 times out of 10. And this one's, of course, I wanted to ask who you think we'll be seeing as our starting right tackle versus the Patriots on Friday. Now, the number ones weren't out there as far as Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, etc. But the starting right tackle was Jermaine Illuminor, and most of you had that right. We'll talk about him, how he did. We'll talk about Alex Leatherwood as well. Thank you. I do appreciate that, Sandy. Yeah, hit that like button if you are enjoying this. So, no real surprise here. I think Illuminor's the most familiar with the Patriots system, with Josh McDaniel's system, more of a vet, and he's kind of catching on. The only time I've seen him kind of struggle at times when he was put at left tackle. Now, as far as our injuries go, everybody's off the PUP list. We talked about that last week. No real injuries to talk about. Lancaster, backup linebacker, was kind of got out of the game. There's no word on that. And then we want to talk about guys like Brandon Parker and Trayvon Mullen. Neither one played in this game. We don't have any word for that. There's not going to really be an official word needed or given by the team until we get closer to week 1, and that's per the league rules. They don't have to disclose that. So not really hearing anything there. How's it going to impact the 53-man roster? We're going to go over that too after the game review. Let's get after this game review. Why don't we? If you're a Raider fan, you have to have enjoyed what you saw. Again, we're going to go over our good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, given how this game went, there's going to be obviously more good than bad, and the bads aren't necessarily so bad, but there is some questions here, and of course the ugly is probably, you probably already guessed what the ugly is, but let's get right to that. As far as the good goes, let's talk about this defense. I mean, come on, guys. 4 sacks, 3 turnovers, 12 first downs allowed in the game. Unbelievable effort. And like I said, New England started their number ones for the first quarter and a half. So you had Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, etc. out there, and they couldn't get anything done. It took them 4 drives to get 3 points in this game, and that's against our backup. So well done to all of them. I would say Bauer had a really good game. Let's see. Excuse me. Let me get a drink here real quick. Sorry about that. A little scratchy. Sorry about that. Bauer had a really good game. Masterson had an excellent game as a backup linebacker. Duped Mac Jones, the starting quarterback, into throwing a bad throw. Got the interception. Kind of basically spied him. And this is an undrafted free agent. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if it's more towards us or towards the problems maybe the Patriots have there on their offense, but maybe a little bit of both. But well done overall. 6 points scored total. And here's another one, not just against the passing game, but also the run game. Now here's Ramondre Stevenson. This is their number 1 running back here. These guys were penetrating. They couldn't get anything really going. They had 3 and outs. They had 2 punts, an interception, and a field goal for their starters in that game. So well done again to all those guys. And then this is my favorite play of the whole game. This was 3rd down. They were in the red zone. They got called for an offensive pass interference, blatant push off. So that was a good call we got. 3rd down, here's Mac Jones running for his life here, ends up having to throw it away. Really pathetic, and they ended up just getting a field goal out of that. I got to talk about Jarrett Stidham here. Very solid. Now, Mac Jones was 9 of 13 for only 71 yards and an interception. Now, Stidham only played, I believe, 2 series. He was 4 of 6 for 72 yards. He's been solid this whole preseason, and it solidified his number 2 status. I talked about that last week. I talked about that before the Nick Mullins trade, and it made Nick Mullins expendable, so we traded him away. And what can I say? This feels like this new regime feels different. To me, I've talked about Gruden and him kind of being behind the game. This McDaniels has it going on. Even with the backups, there's not just the gameplay, but also the discipline of this team. Think about this. We only had 1 penalty in the whole game, no turnovers. We've been relatively clean down. Remember, these are 2nd and 3rd stringers out there, so you can tell the discipline is ramped up. This regime has it going together, and I can't wait until week 1 we see this against the Chargers. Now, as far as the bad, it's a couple of things. One might be a little ticky-tack. The other one's a little bit more concerning. Now, I got to talk about the running game. Unfortunately, didn't really get it going on. We ran it 30 times, only got 82 yards. It's under 3 yards per carry. Again, these are the backups, but we've been seeing this before. Zeus only was 5 for 17. He didn't have a very good game against Miami either. Again, these are against the backup offensive line, so you could say that, but still a little bit telling there. And then the 3rd down conversions, while we held New England to 4 of 13, we were held 3 of 14 and 3rd down conversions. We had a drive stall in the red zone like we've seen before in the old regime. You could probably chalk that up to the backups, but still a little concerning. Not terribly bad, but we got to include it there. Now, of course, we got to talk about the ugly. And I got to talk about it. Let me take this graphic away so you can see. And that is Alex Leatherwood. Hey, Diane Champ. Something a little to drink. I see you guys talking in here. That's Alex Leatherwood. Again, let me get this. Again, we're seeing him struggle out there, and I just took another picture, snapshot. There was one of many that I could do here, and he was basically getting played here. And now this is when the backups were in. Here's Garbers here, speed move. He was getting pushed back into the pocket into the quarterback during the game, looking lost, very regressive here. We're going to talk a little bit about Alex Leatherwood, and I will get into that once we get into the roster here. But this could be very likely that we're going to cut this guy, and it's a shame. It's a first-round pick. I didn't think he was as good as a first-round pick, but he should be able to at least be serviceable, and he just isn't, especially at right tackle. Now, before we get into the question and answer segment, I do want to go over the roster here real quick. Now we have to cut down. I'm going to scroll this up. This is from spottrack.com, and I wanted to show this. Let me zoom this in so you can actually see this a little bit better. There we go. There we go. So we are about 22 million under the cap right now, and that's relative to the top 51 players. Last week I talked about this. We have to get to 53. Most of those players on the bottom end are low value as far as dollar wise. And if you cut them, for the most part, there are a few exceptions, but for the most part, if you cut them, we won't get hit on the cap. So if you can look at this, this is the cap hit. If we keep the player, this is how much we have towards the cap. If we get rid of them, this is how much we have to burn. We get rid of them and we have to incur this amount of money. So just to let you know, so we're going to go through this. I'm going to give who I think will probably be going and maybe be going as well. How you doing? Triumph or tragedy turned triumph. Go Raiders. Absolutely. They looked awesome overall. No doubt about it. Josh McDaniels has this team running on all cylinders, even the backups. And this was against his old mentor, of course, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. We heard, if you were listening earlier in the week, about the joint practices, how the Raiders looked markedly better than the Patriots. This is now they didn't do a lot of contact and any kind of heavy contact, so Carr and the gang were out there. But that offense could basically do whatever they wanted. You would hear all these things coming out of camp. And I wanted to see this game Friday, and it just kind of translated over to the backups. So they're basically getting schooled. They're Matt Patricia. I think they've really lost Josh McDaniels there as offensive coordinator. That Patriots offense kind of looked lost, to be honest with you. On the other side of the coin, Stidham, most part gashing these guys, especially in the middle. The deep middle was wide open. A lot of missed assignments on the defensive side for the Patriots. They just looked bad all around, and we took advantage of it. So let's get right to this as far as the positioning goes. So now we're at 80 players, right? We have to get to 53. Of course, that's 27 players we got to get rid of off the active roster. That means we could flat out cut them. We could put them on the practice squad. But if they go on the practice squad, somebody could sign them onto the regular roster and take them away, of course. There's a lot of speculation on how they're going to do this. I'm going to give my take on this. Andre James is going to be starting center. Grasu's probably going to be gone. It's not going to be a dead cap hit. We got to take this into account, some things. As far as the cornerback room, they're talking about Amik Robertson going away now. This is post June 1st. If you see this hovered over, it's $123,000 of dead cap space we'd have to take if we get rid of him. That's totally doable. I could see that happening. See, you have a guy like Averett here. He's not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's possible. I mean, they did get rid of Kenyon Drake. We added another $4 million differential between paying him and the dead cap space. It could happen, but I don't really see it happening. So that's a possibility. He did play well, but, ultimately I would say sometimes you just got to cut good players, unfortunately. And honestly, this is the first time I've seen a Raiders roster so deep that there's going to be players that we cut are going to be on other active squads easily. Usually you would see, maybe one or two iffies. There's going to be this is going to be a tough decision by this Raiders organization who they're going to keep, to be honest with you. Isaiah Brown's not a cap hit. He'll probably be gone, of course. I'd like Sam Webb. He's played a heck of a preseason, but he could go a small amount just getting under that 53-man roster. Cleve Farrell, people are talking about that. I don't understand it. Jenkins getting hurt. We're kind of thin as far as backup edge rushers. Now I know that's not really his forte. He can rush, not as good as the others, but good run stopper. He can come in like on a 3-4 type of defensive end. He could definitely play that if Coach Graham wants to go to a 3-4, bounce it back and forth. A little bit more flexibility. But here, look, it's $10 million against the cap. It's not going to change. We're going to eat $10 million and get rid of this guy. It doesn't make any sense to me. We didn't extend him. I think he'll stay here. And remember, we're a little over $20 million over the cap. We do have the room for it, but why do that? And we're not going to have a player. We're going to have to put a player to fill him in. Tyler Lancaster's had a good camp. Unfortunately, he might be a casualty. Malcolm Kuntz played pretty well. Only $250,000 against the cap here. I don't know. I could see that. Tayshaun Bauer should definitely make this team. He's been definitely one of the stars in the preseason. Sandy B says, wow, Tuesday will be a weird day for all of football. Absolutely. And it's not just that. You're going to see Raiders might sign a few players too that other people cut as well, depending on needs as far as position goes. So it's going to be a lot of movement, of course. He definitely should make the team. There's no guarantees, though. Kendall Vickers more of a defensive tackle in my book than defensive end. Van Valkenburg's played okay, but it's been mainly against the scrubs. This could be a practice squad situation. Of course, Hankins will be there. Pico's been starting in the preseason, playing well, but that doesn't really matter. Now, some people say Neil Farrell Jr. could be a casualty. Excuse me. Could be a casualty here in the 53-man roster. Be a little weird since this new regime did draft him. So I'm not so sure about that. Why would they do that and turn around and do that? But it would be 180 towards the cap. It could happen. I'm not so secure with the defensive tackles anyway, to be honest with you. Let's see. Marion Tungavailoa Amosa. Cousins of the Tualatin Tungavailoa, he'll probably be gone. Jakob Johnson, they got as a fullback. They signed him. He's going to stay here. Matt Butler, another rookie. Let's see. Jonathan Abram. Why get rid of $3 million here? We're going to have him. We didn't extend him. This will be his last season here. Alex Bars, that'd be fine by me. I wasn't really. He played a little bit better in this game, but overall, especially the first two games, did not look very good at all. So it wouldn't mind. Luminor is going to probably be our starting right tackle the way things are going. Simpson's probably the starting left guard. Parham's in there. He'll be a backup guard center in my opinion. Lester Cotton, I'm going to say he might be the right guard, starting right guard for us. Meredith's kind of iffy. I've seen him miss some plays. He could be gone for sure. Perryman, of course, is a Pro Bowler on his last year of his contract. He ain't going anywhere. The linebacker room's going to be a little interesting because Masterson's been playing lights out in the preseason. Is he even going to have room? Are we going to have room for this guy? Of course, we have Darren Butler. We have Divine Diablo. Let's see, $245,000. He could be gone this year. Remember, he had injury issues his first year last year as a rookie. Didn't come on till late in training camp. Kind of similar this year. Jayon Brown. We could see this. Of course, Carlson's our kicker. We're not going to worry about that. Tay Davis, we did sign, but it's not going to hurt us if we get rid of him. So a lot of these guys are long snappers secured. Colton Miller, of course. Chandler, of course. AJ, Derek. Stidham's going to be our number 2 guy. Chase Garbers, I'm thinking practice squad, to be honest with you. it is what it is. He looked better. This is probably one of his better games, to be honest with you, against New England. Josh Jacobs, people keep talking about him getting traded. I haven't seen it yet. I think he'll be here one last year. Bolden, systems guy, he'll probably still be here. Now, this is going to be interesting here. Of course, Zamir White's going to be here. He's the heir apparent to take over for Josh Jacobs as the number 1. Now, who's going to stay here? Is it going to be Austin Walter or Britton Brown? That's going to be a big one here, to be honest with you. And I think Britton Brown's going to be gone. Probably a practice squad guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody picks him up as a backup running back somewhere. Good in between tackles guy. Unfortunate, but it happens. Let's get to this guy right here, Alex Leatherwood. Now, if you look here, he's due about $3.3 million if we keep him. If we cut him, now it's post June 1st, it's 7.8 against the cap. That's about $4.5 million extra as far as differential. I could totally see this. If it was straight $11 million, I would be like, no, they're probably going to keep him back as a guard. But I see this happening. I see Alex Leatherwood getting cut. If you watched Josh McDaniels' interview today, they kind of asked about Leatherwood specifically and kind of got the vibes that he's going to be gone. And he just looked terrible out there last game as well. Merrigg's a stud. He's staying. Roderick Teamer's probably going to be staying. Let's see. Cole's probably gone. Polamalu's probably gone. Cosby's probably gone. Not to say that they're bad, but 53-man roster. Deron Harmon, it's a possibility. Farley will be gone. One of these guys will probably be gone, not both. Look at this. Brandon Parker, $2.7 million. I don't know why this guy's even on the team. He's hurt again, supposedly. He can't play the left side. He looked terrible in the first game. He looked awful. I would say, if anything, Jackson Barton would be your swing guy. I think Munford's a little too slow for the left side, to be honest with you, but he'll probably make the team as a backup tackle. Olaseni, he was a little shaky last night. Gave up a sack. He'll probably be gone. Waller's gonna the contract's still there, so Spot Track has him valued at $14 million. I'm thinking probably more about 11. So I'm thinking that's going to be a renegotiation. So you got to add about 4 or 5 million to our cap space. Take that away to get him extended here. So Foster Moreau will probably still make the team. We haven't really seen him. And then these guys will probably be gone as far as tight ends. Let's see. Might keep a third one. We're definitely not keeping 5. Of course, Adams and Renfro are there. This wide receiver room, this is another one that's going to be a dogfight. I really hope DJ Turner makes the team somewhere, because I like his returning skills. He can still catch the ball, but I love his returning skills. I do not want Henry Renfro returning punts and kickoffs. It's absolutely ridiculous. Horsted looked pretty good in the seam there in the middle. He's more of a tight end. We talked about that. Tyron Johnson has looked pretty good since Demarcus Robinson was cut. But let's think about it. I would say max 5 wide receivers here. So you got 1, 2. I would say 3 here. Zuber did get the pick, but he dropped a ball that he should have caught before. Stoner was out there. I'm not seeing a whole lot from him. Probably Keelan Cole will probably be kept. He's a guy, it seems like the ball just sticks to him. He makes these catches, kind of deep middle, kind of like the Demarcus Robinson role, really. So he'll probably be there, and maybe one other. But I want to know what you guys have to say about this, and what you guys think. Let's get this over here. How you guys doing out there tonight? I see you guys here. Monster PT Buck. I'm going to be scrolling through. I want to see what you guys have to say. 2,000 likes. Thank you very much. Let's see. John's here. John Tuna 88. Raider Johnny Espinosa says nope. I'm not sure what he was saying nope to, but he can elaborate there. Put your questions in the chat right now. We'll go over these. And while you do that, I'm going to go over some important dates down here. I put these down. Of course, this Tuesday is the cut down day. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern. We got to get down to 53 from 80. Huge move. Then on Friday, next Friday, we're going to be doing our Schedule 2.0 live stream. If you're not familiar with that, that's where we have the schedule out here, and we go over it. Wins and losses we predict. I make my predictions. You guys make your predictions right before the season starts. And then we're going to be live the next Saturday after that to our Week 1 game preview versus the Chargers. And, of course, Sunday we're going to be doing our halftime live stream for about 10 or 15 minutes. In the middle of the game, I'll give you my thoughts on the game, my good, bad, and ugly. And then we're going to do the game review the next day on Monday. So that'll probably be the way we do things. We'll probably either be going to do the game previews on Friday or Saturday nights. And then we'll do a halftime live stream on Sunday afternoon for the game. And then that Monday we'll do the game review live stream. Renfro making returns. Yeah, he is. And I don't want him out there because I don't want to get him hurt, especially when we paid him that money. So he needs to be healthy for us in the slot. That's what he needs to do, not return kicks. And DJ Turner has shown he has ample ability to return punts and kicks. So I would want a space for that guy. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Alex Leatherwood is going to be cut on Tuesday? Put a 1 in the chat. Yes. Put a 2. If no, put a 3 if you're really not sure. Thank you for the likes, Diane. I appreciate that. Let's see. Whoop. Yep. Sandy says, yep, 1, a big one. I'm leaning towards it. I wasn't so sure about it before, but the game before in Miami didn't look good, and this game against the Patriots, he was horrific in the game. He was really bad, and he didn't start the game. He came in later, and it's amazing because the starting offensive line, they looked, Illuminor was in there at right tackle, and as a whole, even with Jackson Barton as the left tackle, they looked pretty good out there against the Patriots starters, and you didn't start really seeing a lot of holes until Leatherwood and company came in, and then I just kind of keyed on Leatherwood every play. He was either getting beat on speed moves, he would get pushed right into the pocket, like I said, into the quarterback. I don't know what to say. He looks worse now than he did before. And of course, he's another old regime pick. And like I said, Amik Robertson might be gone as well. Divine Diablo, those are all old regime picks that could very well be gone as they clean house. Treasury Turn Triumph says too, he will not be cut. Why do you think that? Remember, it's only about a $4.5 million differential on the cap, keeping him versus cutting him in the dead cap space. So I'm saying this because they did the same thing with Kenyon Drake. They added $4 million in dead overall cap space by cutting Kenyon Drake. They could have kept him for $4 million, but they cut him. They had $8 million on the dead cap now. So we've seen it before with this regime. And again, Kenyon Drake was an old regime signing. So let's see. Diane puts a 3. She just does not know. I understand that. That is fine. Appreciate that. So let's see what we got. We got 6 people in the chat right now. 7 in here right now. 13 likes. We've got 2,600 likes in TikTok. Appreciate that. Let's see. So Tragedy, why do you think he's not going to get cut? And if you don't think he's going to get cut, do you think Brandon Parker's going to get cut? Sandy, thank you for the hand heart gift. I appreciate that. Let's see. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of good players that are going to get cut on this team. Like I said, I feel this is one of the more deeper teams we've had at this point in a season in a long time. The previous regime, we didn't have this kind of depth or flexibility. And like I said this before about this regime. It's thank you for the cap, Diane. Appreciate that. Putting the cap on me. I saw that. This old regime, they practice what they preach. They talk about flexibility. They talk about giving everybody a chance. And, no jobs really secured. Of course, Derek Carr's there. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here. There are some exceptions, but that's the way it's been. Treasury Turns Triumph says he's a prospect now and we need depth. Yeah, I mean, they could move him to guard. I don't want him at tackle at this point. I'm really kind of leery of it. Now, I know there's been talk. I know Colton Miller looked like crap his first year. Got a little bit better the second year and then really started picking it up the third year. That's possible, but I don't know. The way this regime is, I just got this feeling that he could very well be gone. It will cost us more to cut and no one will trade. Yes, it's going to cost us about an extra $4 million on the cap if we cut him straight away. No one's going to trade for him. I agree with that. But like I said, Kenyon Drake, that cost us an extra $4 million in overall space, keeping him versus cutting him, and we did it. So are you saying Amir Abdullah is a better player than Kenyon Drake? Who's, this is what I mean. I'm seeing what this new regime's doing, and I just got a sense of it now. I got a sense. I'm hoping Jackson Barton makes the team. I think he's definitely serviceable on the left side. I'm not real confident in the backup left tackle with anybody else. Illuminor looked terrible the first game. I believe they put him back there in the Miami game. He looked better. But still, I think Barton overall is probably the best we have on the roster right now. If we're not going to go out and get a guy like Fisher, I don't know what else to say about that. Better than Drake, I can see that. I don't see it. I've never really been impressed with Amir Abdullah, to be honest with you. I didn't see why he was even what he did in Detroit, to be honest with you. He's kind of bouncing around. I like what I've seen from Abdul. I think Britton Brown has shown more than Amir Abdullah in the preseason, to be honest with you. Zamir White is definitely a guy that we can kind of lean on. And like I said, I wanted Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is going crazy in Houston right now. He's basically got the number one job. Not to say anything against Zamir White, but I think Dameon Pierce would have probably been a better one, but we wouldn't have gotten Parham then. But I think getting Pierce in the third and trying to figure out backup offensive lineman would have probably been better for us. But I do like Zamir White. He does run hard. I like the way he is 3rd and 1. And he's going to hit you. He's going to get that. He's not going to shy away. That was my problem with Kenyon Drake. I was not impressed with his inside running at all. I don't know why, especially the old regime, they would try to run him inside. Josh either gets hurt or he gets tired. And we're in the third quarter. They're trying to run Kenyon Drake. Hey, West Warren, how you doing? We're not going to go live. We're not going to do a collab right now. Maybe later. I appreciate that though. But I don't know why they would try to run him inside. It would never really worked unless he had a huge hole. Not only that, the contract was absolutely ridiculous. He did restructure a little bit, but still, it didn't make any sense. This is another one of those old regime ones. So let's see. Tragedy says, seeing the running back depth, would you rather draft Brown or draft a tackle? Let's see. I don't know. See, that's the whole thing. I gotta say this. I kind of get the feeling that Josh Jacobs might have been in play for a trade at some point before and maybe during the draft. And maybe they got a Britton Brown in the 7th because they needed another inside runner with Zamir White. Otherwise, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But again, it's the 7th round pick. I think they got Thayer Munford in the 7th round before that. So, and I think he's serviceable. I think that's a pretty good pick. The left side, no. We've seen him over there. No, I think the right side, he can be serviceable. He can be a decent backup. Let's see. Oh. Sandy B says, oh. So no, I'm not gonna, somebody, people keep wanting to go live with me on TikTok. I'm not going to do that right now. Maybe another time, especially if I don't know you. I'm not here to do battles and stuff. If you want to talk Raiders, that's a different thing. So, but yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the reason why they went after Britton Brown in the 7th round there. They need another inside runner if they're going to move Josh Jacobs, but it didn't happen. Again, Josh Jacobs was not extended. This is his last season here. I don't think we're going to re-sign him. He's going to go somewhere else, which is fine. I mean, when he's 100%, he's great, but I don't see him lasting a full 17-game season. He's going to wear down. He's either going to get hurt or he's going to wear down enough to where he's not that explosive slashing type back that you see when he's fully healthy, and he's going to turn into an okay back. So I talked about that. I pounded the table. We needed a third quarter running back to pound the ball when we get the lead, and we got that guy in Zamir White. So let's see. Hey, Raider Johnny Espinoza is back. How are you doing tonight? So we are Saturday. Hang on. We are here Saturday. We normally go Friday. Of course, the game was on Friday, but we'll probably be doing Fridays for the foreseeable future. We'll be doing next Saturday. I can't do next Friday. We'll be doing next Saturday to go over the Week 1 matchup against the Los Angeles Chargers. That'll be very interesting. If you're not familiar with that, I actually break down the 11 on 11, and I give my keys to the game and our strengths and weaknesses and what we need to avoid and what we need to attack on the team. And then during halftime, I'll go through and say, well, how are we doing with those? So very interesting. Again, if you are enjoying this comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. That way you're here live with us, especially if you're watching this on a replay. Why not come here and be live with us here so we can, interact with each other? How you doing? Israel 2010 says, I just joined the chat. Says, what is your biggest concern on the defense, the defensive back, the line, or both? I gotta say the defensive backs right now. We've seen a little bit of Mullen. We have seen Jonathan Hankins back. I'd like to see what Bilal Nichols is going to do for us. But I've seen some. We've had some decent plays. It's been kind of hot and cold, honestly, on the DB side. We've had some good plays, and then guys are just wide open during preseason. So I would like to see that more. I'm not 100% confident in Trayvon Mullen's health and staying healthy. I think that might be an issue. However, it seems like this regime is okay with it. Didn't draft a cornerback. Haven't brought in any kind of big name free agent cornerback. So we will see. I think that's the case right now. Overall, in general, especially if you look at this game, this is a nice little game to look at because the Patriots started their number ones for a quarter and a half. So that includes Ramondre Stevenson, a bigger kind of power type back, and he didn't get much of anything at all. So, and that's against our backup. So Hankins has been looking good. He looked pretty good at the end of last season as far as that one technique kind of nose kind of guy. And we got Neil Farrell we drafted, kind of a Hankins clone. We'll see how he does. But overall, they've been looking pretty well. Linebackers have looked pretty good. Of course, Denzel Perryman is an absolute stud. Well, don't have to say anything about that. Tackling machine. My only issue with him is, can he stay healthy? He's had injury issues in the past. Let's see. So, yeah, I would say the cornerback position is more a question in my mind than the defensive line. But I'm still wondering what's going to happen with this offensive line. Of course, Colton Miller is going to be there. Andre James is going to be the center. Probably John Simpson is going to be left guard. Who knows what's going to happen on the right side of this ball? I'm still thinking Luminor is going to be our starting right tackle. We've talked about this kind of for weeks now. Is Alex Leatherwood going to be the day one starter? I thought he would. He has looked terrible in training camp / preseason. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. In fact, he's probably going to get cut. Like I said earlier, it's about a $4.5 million difference between keeping him and cutting him on the cap. I could totally see that happening. We still have Cotton. We still have even Thayer Munford who could play guard. We have Parham who could play guard as well. So, Tragedy says that's why I feel the Drake cut is a different situation, even if he is big dead cap, because McDaniels wants his picks in. Yeah, and that's another old regime. It wasn't a pick, but he was a signing. So again, Amik Robertson, Cleve Farrell. I can't see Cleve Farrell. We're gonna have to pay him the full. We're gonna have to take the full amount if we cut him. It's like 10 million, 9.9 or some 9.8. Plus, we're kind of thin on defensive edge rushers, right? Defensive end, and then of course Alex Leatherwood, and then you could throw in Divine Diablo in there as well. Haven't seen a whole lot of him. He could very well be gone as well. But Leatherwood can still be a prospect. But yeah, here's the thing though. How long, especially when a new regime comes in, they want to do things their way, get their people in. How much patience is this new regime going to have with Alex Leatherwood? I mean, I think it might have ran out. I'm saying it's at least 50-50 right now. And it would not surprise me. If you told me this a month ago, I would have been like 10, 20%. I'm probably about 50-50 now at least, that he's going to get cut before Tuesday. See, I like Illuminor there better. I even like Jackson Barton. He's done better at tackle than Leatherwood has. Olasani has not looked good. He's going to be gone. Let's see. Narcos again. We're about 45 minutes into this live stream. We usually go about an hour. That's about as long as we want to go. Now I want to talk about next Friday. We're going to be going live. We're going to be doing our RC schedule 2.0. We're going to be reviewing our picks, and this is the time for you guys to make any changes. We made some predictions a couple months ago when the season came out, a 1.0. And I'm going to take a look at it myself and see if I want to make any changes to my predictions. My prediction was we're 11-win season. Last year I had us at 10 wins. We got 10 wins. So, yeah, it's going to be on Friday the 2nd. As you can see right here, here's our dates coming up. Friday the 2nd. Look at that. So, course cut down date is on Tuesday. Friday the 2nd, we're going to be going live. We could talk about the cut downs as well. We're going to go over the schedule if you guys want to make changes. That'll probably be a little bit more towards an hour and a half. It usually takes a little bit longer. And then next Saturday, we're going to be doing a Game 1 preview of our opening matchup against the Chargers. We're going to go live at halftime. That's Sunday afternoon. And then Monday, do a game review. So, again, if you are enjoying this, like Sandy B says, hit the like button, subscribe, follow right here on TikTok. I see you right here. how you guys doing out there. Follow us, and you'll be notified of all this of what we do. Of course, we do this throughout the year. We have our reviews, our previews, our live streams during halftime as well. And also, we do some things. Hey, Jason Sky, how you doing? I'm not gonna do a collab live stream right now. Some people keep asking on TikTok, but I want to let you guys know. Why not subscribe? Because that way, hit that bell notification. You got to set it to all. TikTok's not that way. You just follow and then they just pop things up. They're a little bit better about it, but YouTube, you have to hit that little bell next to it to all. That way, when I set up the next live stream, which will be this Friday, scheduled 2.0. This is one of the more exciting ones we do, to be honest with you. And we look at the schedule, we see what's going on, and we make our predictions. So come join us. I encourage you to come join us and be involved with the discussion. Thank you very much. Let's see. You guys have any more questions? We're getting near the end of the program again. If you didn't watch before, go back. We talked about the game review. I gave my good, bad, and ugly of the game itself. Mostly good, of course. If you watch the game, Raiders pretty much dominated with their backups. So against the first string Patriots. It's pretty sad. 3,600 likes, says Sandy B. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. So many likes we got over in YouTube land. We got 15 likes. Again, a little bit different in TikTok. If you're not familiar on the YouTube side, you can just click your device and just keep tapping it and giving likes. So that's why there's a lot more likes over there. But I do appreciate each and every one of those. Thank you, Diane and Sandy B. And a lot of others who've also given likes and also gifts. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. So keep tapping, Sandy B. Keep tapping. I see you. You guys are tapping like crazy. I appreciate that. So I'll ask one more question and then we'll kind of close this out. It's the Q&A right here. It's right here. Who are your surprise cuts? That you feel? I put that as my question to you guys. Of course, there's probably going to be a couple on this roster. We get from 80 to 53. Who are some surprises you think are going to be cut? Again, I think Alex Leatherwood is definitely a candidate. Brandon Parker should be cut, in my opinion. He didn't look good on the left side either. I thought that was the only reason we got him, so he could be the swing tackle. I didn't like what I saw in the Hall of Fame game at all. Then he got hurt. I think he should go. Probably a few other guys. Maybe Amik Robertson might go. A lot of these old regime guys. Leatherwood would not be a surprise. At this point, it wouldn't be. So who would you guys think would be a surprise cut for you as far as who you think would be cut? I mean, Derek Carr, that would be a total surprise. That's not going to happen, though. We hit 4,200 likes on Facebook. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, let's see. Got 8 people in YouTube land. I want to hear what you have to say. That's why you're here. Josh Jacobs, could he be a cut? Do we want to look? I'm not so sure it's feasible as far as the cap. Let's take a look at it. Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs, it's going to be the same. So if we want to cut him, we can cut him, but it's going to be $33.8 million either way, whether we keep him or not. Why would we cut him though? I would still say he's the best running back we have on the roster as far as talent wise. So why cut him when there's really no benefit? Use him in his last year. He's going to move on. He's going to want to have a big year this year because he's going to want to get paid by somebody else next year. So that would be kind of a surprise in my opinion, but I just don't see it. Is Cleve Farrell going to remain on the team? Again, Cleve Farrell's another guy. He's going to make almost $10 million, and there's no benefit to cut him. Plus, we're a little thin at the edge position anyway, defensive end position. That would be a major surprise. Again, that would. we're going to have to incur that and then replace him with somebody else. It could happen, but again, I think that's probably their best way of cleaning out the old regime picks is to not extend them. Same thing with Jonathan Abram. Not a whole lot of benefit in cutting him, to be honest with you. It could happen. I think it's like 3 point something million. But there's no real net differential. It could happen. Hey, Bobby Haddon, I see you in there. What up, Raider family? I see you. How you doing? Bobby, do you have any people you think are going to be cut that would be surprises when we get to the 53-man roster deadline on Tuesday? Hang on. Oop. Get in there. Nope. Nope. It's Cleve Farrell. I don't know. I think Cleve Farrell has a better chance of making it than Leatherwood at this point, to be honest with you. No, not that I can think of. We're gonna get at least one, maybe two. I know we've already had Kenyon Drake. That was a relative surprise. DeMarcus was kind of a surprise on the first set of cuts, in my opinion, because I didn't feel he was the worst wide receiver out there. That Zuber guy, I don't think he can catch a cold, to be honest with you. I don't know why he was still there over DeMarcus, but Tragedy says McDaniels will have to be a little patient this year. Yeah. They might put him back at guard. I don't know. Just by seeing him though, I don't know if it's a psychological thing with him or what. Maybe he's kind of in his own head. I mean, let's think about these. This is against number 2s and number 3s on the Patriots, and then we talked last week. Miami, he got owned by Gustin, their backup edge rusher. He looked really bad. He made Gustin look like Max Crosby out there. So this isn't the first time. I don't know why else we would want to keep this guy around, to be honest with you, especially when we dumped Drake and added more dead cap space. Why not cut this guy as well? I think would keep all cheap contracts. Well, the lower end guys, I think so. Can hope. Tragedy says, can hope he has learned from the past mistakes, right? But again, we've been seeing this. We saw this in the Miami game also. So he looked even worse this week than he did the Miami game, if that was possible. I don't know. I'm probably leaning more over 50%. He's going to be cut at this point. It's just a tough position to find good players. And if you think he's got a possibility of growth, then you might not want to cut him just yet. Yeah, he's still on the rookie contract. Let's see. But there's other players that they're talking about, Bobby, that are on rookie contract, like Amik Robertson. There's talk that he's going to be cut, so that's not necessarily true. I look more towards old regime versus new regime, and I've seen this with other teams. When a new regime comes in, they just do a shakeup. They get rid of a lot of the old contracts, a lot of the old players, and bring their guys in. That's what this guy's been doing. So, Brandon Bolden, Jakob Johnson, the fullback. Let's see. So Illuminor, I know he was here last year, but Illuminor, he's an old Patriot, so it is what it is. And Leatherwood did not help himself at all this preseason. I think they gave him every opportunity they possibly could. And he was just bad. He was bad against the 2s and 3s also. So I don't know what else to say about it. I guess Leatherwood would be. My surprise says tragedy. All right. Thank you for the TikTok gifts there. Appreciate that, Sandy, and some likes. Appreciate that. We're at 4,600. We're probably gonna close this one out here. We're right at an hour here. We usually start at about 6 o'clock Pacific, usually, and we go about an hour. Next Friday, we're going to be doing our Raiders Schedule 2.0. We're going to be doing our schedule prediction show. We're going to see what we talked about last time, if we want to make any changes right before the season starts, and then get on to the next week into those actual games, the real deal. So why not subscribe if you haven't already? Hit the like button. It helps the channel out immensely when you do that. It shows the platform that, hey, this is something you guys like, and they will show it to other members of the Raider Nation. And that's how we grow here. Let's see. One is on 3 years. The other is a second-year rookie. Well, that's true. Yeah. Amika's third year. Leatherwood is second, but still rookie contracts. We know what he can't do, but do we know what he can do? Well, that goes towards the coaching staff, the offensive line. I mean, Tom Cable should have found that out. Obviously he didn't. He had Brandon Parker. He moved him inside, had Brandon Parker play right tackle and get destroyed. So that's on our new coaching staff, our new offensive line coach, and Josh McDaniels. Okay, let's see. So we are at 1 hour. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to say thank you for you guys coming out here. If you missed out, you can watch the replay. And what I'll do is I'll leave the live stream up as is, because with YouTube, if you edit or modify anything with that, it takes away the live chat replay. I don't know why, but it does. So I leave that unedited, and what I'll do is I usually make a separate video of the topic, and we're going at the actual game review itself, usually about 5 or 10 minutes for people to take a look at, so you guys can look at that. And of course, we'll see you here on Friday. For sure, I will see you guys on Friday. I'll see you here on Friday, Tragedy, as well as you guys here in TikTok land. Send in more gifts. I appreciate it. Almost at 5,000 likes. Holy moly, I appreciate every single one of you guys. It's fun, and that's why I do the live streams, because I could just make videos and just say what I want and put it out there. But I want to hear the interaction from you guys, Raider Nation. A lot of you guys, really smart guys out there, know your football, see what's going on. Bottom line is, my opinion, and it's not just me, it feels different. This regime feels different. It looks different, and honestly, it is different. If you can make the Patriots look that bad with their starters, he made them, usually they only play about a quarter, maybe 2 series. Belichick sent Matt Jones and company out there 4 series because they didn't do squat those first 3 series. So that says a lot. That says a lot, man. We just had our backups in there. It says a lot for this team. It says a lot for Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, getting the guys in that they need. And it's good. It's going to be a really tough year, guys, though. We're in a really tough division. Everybody's gotten a little bit better. I know Tyreek Hill's gone, but they've improved that offensive line and defensive line for the Chiefs. They are no slouch. Don't get me wrong on that. Of course, Russell Wilson's there. Chargers got Khalil Mack, J.C. Johnson, got some big names. They built up their offensive line with Rashawn Slater and company. Put Lindsley, they spent in free agency, the center. So this division is going to be a pain in the ass. And then we got to play against the NFC West, another pain in the ass division. It's going to be tough, but I still believe we're going to get at least 11 wins this year. I'm not going to say we're going to necessarily win the division, but we're at least going to be in the hunt for the division, definitely going to be in the playoffs. And I just want to say that I'm really happy and excited. And finally, it's nice. It's nice because us as Raider Nation have suffered for so long. I know there's a lot of Raider fans out there. I've seen the last time we won a Super Bowl. I'm not a spring chicken. A lot of these young guys have never seen the Raiders win a Super Bowl. Not even been in the Super Bowl in the 2002 season. A lot of people haven't even seen that. Perhaps they were a little bit too young for that, but even so, I remember the last Super Bowl. I saw it. I enjoyed it as a kid, and it's about time we start winning again. You can say commitment to excellence and all this other stuff, but until you actually execute it and do it, they're just words. And frankly, I think a lot of the regimes in the past were just doing that and trying to live off the past. And now we've got people that know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you, this new regime. I truly feel that way, and I think they really want to bring back the honor of this franchise and then its winning way. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited about this season. It's going to be a great ride. I think it's going to be a great time for us. And again, this is another thing like Josh McDaniels. This is kind of a redemption story. If you don't know, he about 10, 15 years ago, he was the coach of the Broncos, failed miserably, young, brash, didn't get along with anybody, lasted there about a season and a half or something. Crashed and burned, went back to New England, licked his wounds, came back more mature, and you can see it now. You can totally see it. So I am stoked. I think we have the right people in place, and we have a lot more of the right players in place now to make a run at some championships. So again, appreciate you guys coming out here. Thank you guys for coming out. I'll see you on Friday, and as always, go Raiders.
With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.